Yeah, I have $10 million for Nate Diaz. I want to fight him in MMA in the PFL. The offer has been there. I still want to do it, and we can fight August 5th, sure, but I want to fight him in MMA. I think it'd be really fun. He has 10 million guaranteed.
Let me tell you something about Andrew. This is my boy right here. You disrespect him, you're disrespecting me.
Inside fighting. Shout out to inside fighting.
We're back in studio 5, 6, 5, 6, 7, 8. I've just always wanted to do that.
Okay.
It's like a ballet. You know, like you're in ballet. You ever been to a ballet and the instructor's all 5, 6?
I know what you mean. No,
5, 6, 7, 8.
my wife is a dancer, so she.
You hear those
yeah,
5,
yeah.
6.
She
5,
does in the
6,
living room.
7, 8.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I don't know why they don't.
She
just
does
do
the
1, 2, 3, 4.
She does that for salsa. She does the 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4,
wow.
1, 2, 3. Yeah. So I got a
salsa.
little idea of it. Yeah. She's
Nice.
good, bro.
You're the chipster of salsa. Anyways,
Yeah.
listen, we're back in studio live
Cheers.
from Koreatown. Feels good to be in Stu.
It's been a while.
Biggest 2 weeks in the fight game, in the history of the fight game. I don't think there's ever been a 2 weeks like this. This weekend we have Errol Spence versus Terrence Crawford, 2 undefeated 147-pounders trying to unify them bouts. This is the best fight boxing scene in years. Followed up by next week, and you have Jake Paul versus Nate Diaz, and you know everyone's excited for that fight. This is the best 2 weeks of, and then you have UFC.
And not just that, it's one of the best 2 weeks of boxing in general of the year. You just had the Fulton Inouye fight. How do you pronounce his last name?
Yeah.
Just an incredible run for boxing. Yeah, the monster. Great fight.
The monster took care of Inouye, and now they're talking about should he move up again and try to fight Tank, or should Tank come down a weight class back down to 130 and a Tank versus Inouye? But I don't think that'll happen.
No.
Tank's too big for 126.
Yeah.
But yeah, shout out Inouye. You know, that's Japan's best boxer they've had in years. So
Yeah, that was a dope knockout. Really good ending to that fight. Just an incredible line of fights when you consider we've got Poirier, Gaethje, and Spence Crawford happening the same night, and then the next week Nate Diaz versus Jake Paul.
right.
Incredible.
So this weekend, this Saturday is going to be live from the MGM Grand. Terrence Crawford, Errol Spence. Who you got?
Well, I don't want to give away too much because we're going to be talking about this on our gambling show, How to Fuck Up Your Parlay. So make sure you guys check that out. But let me just say this.
Why are you cussing, bro?
Let me just say this. I'm a big fan of Errol Spence. Big fan of that guy.
Right.
I love Bud Crawford, but I watched all those press conferences leading up, and I thought Spence was winning the mental warfare game leading up to the fight. So I'm a big believer in Errol Spence, the big fish. What about you?
You said you're a big fan of Spence. I'm a big fan of both. Terrence Crawford's a monster too, and I like that Terrence Crawford's kids are in wrestling. If you follow Terrence Crawford on Instagram and you watch his stories, you'll see that he always has his kids wrestling.
Yeah.
Which is dope because I grew up wrestling. That being said, I'm with Earl Spence and PBC. You know, I have close ties to Floyd Mayweather, who's part of PBC, and I like the Watson brothers and Sam Watson, the father. And I like Earl Spence. I've interviewed him more times than I've interviewed Terrence Crawford, so I have more of a personal relationship with Earl Spence. And I think he's a fantastic boxer, obviously. Both fantastic boxers. I think Earl Spence has a little bit stronger of a chin. We've seen Crawford get rocked once. So I'm picking Errol Spence.
It's a dope fight. I think a lot of people, that the term 50-50 fight gets thrown around a little too casually for my liking sometimes.
Well, listen,
genuinely 50-50.
Breaking news here. We do have Jake Paul, special guest on our podcast today, and we're bringing him in right now.
We're welcoming him in.
Jake Paul, thank you for joining us on the Fight SZN Podcast. How you doing, bro?
I'm good, man. I'm ready to fight, feeling amazing. So everything's on point, and just counting down the days. But we've had an amazing camp, amazing team, amazing energy, and I'm just excited to get to Texas and put on a show.
Right. Now it looks like you're in the gym right now. Are you finishing up a workout or starting a workout?
Neither. I'm just here to do some content and such. But I had a workout earlier. But yeah, just feeling good, man. Ready to go.
I'm feeling good. Feeling good. Looking good. Akon. But
I suppose it's crooked, but
yeah, is that from the Tommy Fury fight, or you've always had a crooked?
no,
nose?
it's from meditating.
Meditating.
I like passed out while I was meditating and fell on my face.
No
Oh,
way.
when was this?
Yeah, like fell straight. This was before the Nate Robinson fight, so I was meditating like 4 feet up and like passed out. I think I had like low blood sugar and face planted straight into the concrete.
Wow, nice.
That's insane. I actually have
That's hilarious.
I have a crooked nose as well. I don't. You probably can't see it, but I got it from flag football when I was a teenager. I just never got it straightened out. I got kneed in the face.
We could see the crooked nose, bro.
It's so difficult to breathe. It's like no air. Like it sucks.
Are you
but-
going to get any sort of surgery on that? Because I know a lot of fighters, they get that surgery done before. Like I know Dricus du Plessis, who just fought like Robert Whittaker a few weeks back, he had to get that surgery done before he fought. Is that something that you've considered?
He did it before. I've considered it, but my thought always was that it takes like a year or two after the surgery for it to like fully heal, and so like you're most likely just gonna break it again.
Right.
Well, hit up Duplessis for some advice. You know, he got the surgery, then he went out and beat Robert Whittaker, so I think it worked for him. But anyways, Jake, listen, fans are excited for your fight with Nate Diaz. This is huge. I'm calling it the best 2 weeks of boxing in the history of boxing. You know what I mean? Because we have so much good boxing right now. And Nate Diaz, Jake Paul, who's not going to tune into that? Like, I've been excited for this fight since it's been announced. Now take me through your day-to-day. What's like a day-to-day in Jake Paul's training camp looking like? You wake up, and what do you do first?
Yeah, so like on a sparring day, I wake up, I immediately like get into the ice bath, meditate, have a quick breakfast, and then about an hour later, I'm sparring. So get to the gym, warm up, go through my routine, spar anywhere from like 4 to 12 rounds, depending on what we want to do that day. Then working on the mitts and the bag and the speed bag and the jump rope after. Then
Here we are.
go home, have like a lunch, nap, get into the hyperbaric chamber, then get ready for my second practice, which let's just say it was like a track workout. We'll go to the track, do a bunch of 800s, bunch of 400s, bunch of 200s. And then that would really be it for the day. Come home, dinner, recovery, get some work done, and go to sleep and do it all over again.
Wow, that's a lot. And you're doing this 5 days a week, 6 days a week, or
6 days a week.
6 days a week? 2 days, 6 days a week.
Yeah, it's pretty much sometimes on most of the time on Saturday we do one workout, but
Right.
but yeah, man, it's the toughest sport in the world, and it requires so much sacrifice, so much mental focus, so much. It's a lot every single day. Every single day is like a challenge, but it makes you invincible damn near. Once you box, everything else in life becomes easy.
Right. Now, so obviously you're taking it serious because, you know, some fans would say, like, hey, this is not a serious fight. Sometimes they would say Jake Paul doesn't take it serious, but you're doing 2 a day, 6 days a week, obviously. So, right.
Yeah, people don't ever get to really see the work. Like the casual fan doesn't see how much work I put in and how much work I've been putting in for 3.5 years now. And I think if they saw that, they would have a ton more respect for what it is that I do. But maybe, I have this like Netflix doc coming out in a couple of days here, and I think that might give people a better look into this world and how serious I take it.
Sick. You got a Netflix doc coming out.
Yeah, I saw you talking about that. So what is it, a mini series? What is it? How many episodes is it?
It's one like hour and 15-minute
Okay.
episode. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
You mentioned
And
the
they kind of just followed my like last 18 months kind of behind the scenes of the Anderson Silva fight, the Tommy Fury fight, my impact on the sport of boxing, and like a brief backstory for people that don't really like know where and what I came from.
I love that. I'm super interested in that sort of stuff. I watch all the sports documentaries. I'm a 30 for 30 nut. I love all that stuff. But you did mention, we were talking about your day-to-day of training. What's your recovery day like? Pardon me if you touched on that a little bit, but what's your average recovery day consist of?
Usually like 3 ice baths, the hyperbaric chamber for about an hour,
Oh, sorry, you did.
which
Yeah,
like
yeah.
which increases the stem cells in your body. I'm sometimes jumping into the red light bed, and then I have a physiotherapist who's doing stretching, massage, any areas that are tight that I need to be worked on, and um, sometimes cupping, like all that good stuff.
This sounds like an expensive training camp. What are you spending on the training camp? I mean, there's been fighters in the past who said, I think it was Mayweather or Roy Jones, or maybe you guys know better than me, but someone spent like $1 million on a training camp.
LeBron spends $1 million like every offseason, apparently.
Yeah, what are you spending on this training camp, Jake?
Yeah, my training camps are probably like 500,000 to $600,000
Right, yeah, it's
easily.
expensive. Yeah, you got a whole team with you
Yeah,
and everything.
the
And
team, the travel, the sparring,
right.
uh, housing the sparring partner, like just everything about it. Like the expenses come from all angles, paying the coaches.
Those massages
So
aren't
there's a lot.
free. You ain't getting no
What?
free. Those massages aren't free.
No, 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 no.
Do you feel
I
like that?
gotta pay physio and everything.
Yeah. Do you feel like that gives you an advantage over the average boxer? Obviously, just the type of resources that you have, just because it's something that a lot of boxers they don't have that sort of those sort of resources. I would imagine that especially somebody that came into boxing later on in his life, didn't embrace boxing in his earlier years. How old were you when you started boxing? 21, 22?
Yeah, 21, about to turn 22. It's definitely an advantage now. It didn't start that way. I think my first camp for my amateur fight, uh, I probably spent like $50,000
Right.
on the camp, but it grew and grew and grew, and
Which is
and I
still a
realized
lot.
at some point, yeah, but at some point, I had to play catch up.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm doing now. So I have to invest into those resources if I want to compete at the level that these guys are competing at who have been doing it their whole entire life. So I have to have some sort of advantage. And yes, having those resources and the best team around and the best sparring partners and all of those things is my advantage to shorten my time span to becoming the best boxer I can possibly be.
Now, you mentioned you've been sparring. Obviously, you're training for a big fight. Sparring is obviously everyone's doing that. Are you knocking anyone out in sparring? Knocking anyone down?
Yeah, I'm putting the business on guys. I'm putting the business on guys for sure. And that's with 16-ounce gloves and headgear, um, hurting people,
So,
hurting people bad.
have you logged some
And
knockouts though?
yeah, no, no, no. I haven't knocked anybody out. Not in sparring. I don't think I've ever knocked anybody out in sparring. Like maybe knocked down.
Right.
Um, but the headgear I don't think like really like allows for it. And then something happens, man, where the first time I spar these guys, I'm like hurting them. But once you sort of get used to each other as a sparring partner and you start to go like rounds and rounds and rounds and rounds, you kind of like know what that person's going to throw. So it's harder to get these guys once they're a little bit more used to my assault.
Nice. I'm going to let my partner take it away here in a bit, but I'm just so excited for this fight. It's two big names, MMA icon. You've made a name for yourself in the boxing world, 6-1. Obviously you've been massive on YouTube for the past decade. What do you think of your opponent, Nate Diaz? Is this your toughest opponent? Are you a fan? Talk to me a little bit about Nate Diaz.
Yeah, no, he's tough, man. He's tough. He's a legend. He sells a lot of pay-per-views. So for all those reasons, it's very, very exciting. I know he's going to bring a fight. I know it's going to be a war. That's why the slogan for the fight is "Ready for War."
Right.
And we both have a lot on the line here. He doesn't want to lose to me, and I can't lose twice in a row. So it's really going to be a battle. And I think the fans are the ones that are winning here because they're going to get a very, very, very entertaining fight.
Facts. Now, you mentioned you don't want to lose 2 in a row. I think MVP, your promotion, they posted an Instagram post about you possibly being smoked out by Nate Diaz and calling it a career. If you lose, will you consider retirement?
Potentially. You never know. You never know. Sometimes you lose and things get bigger and you get more motivated. That's what happened to me in my last
Yeah.
fight and I lost. So like my name only got bigger. The hype for this fight is bigger than any of my other fights, and that's coming off of a loss. More ticket sales than any other fight, more social interactions than any other fight. So I lost and just got bigger and
Right.
got more motivation to be in the gym. So you really never know what's going to happen to life, and sometimes losses are secretly like a blessing in disguise.
I've heard you say that in a few interviews, and I think that that's sort of been what's most impressive for me personally, just watching you, is the way that you accepted the loss to Tommy. I know that he's the guy that hit the mat. It wasn't you. He was the guy that hit the mat in that fight, but you still had to accept the decision, and the way that you come back from that defines you. And you've said that the way you come back from losses defines you way more than the way you come back from a victory.
Yeah, exactly, man. That's where you truly get to test your character, honestly. And that's how you can see what you're truly made of. If you can push through everything while it's not as sweet, while it's not as fun, while you don't have all that glory and that positive energy, when you can push through that, it makes you such a stronger man. And that's why I said for people to judge me by how I handle this loss and come back versus just the loss itself. And when you're winning, everything's fine and dandy. You know, you just keep on moving. You don't really learn from it. Um, and there's not much adversity to fight through. So for me, as a man, this loss has just been amazing. And I've grown to be a better person from it.
Yeah, I mean, so I guess it's time to sort of get into how we see this fight going. Obviously, you've made plenty of predictions about this, but one thing I wanted to ask you is I've seen a lot of people saying this in terms of analysts talking about this fight, and they talk about how if you, because you're the power puncher in this fight, right? And if you can't knock him out in the first, 6 or 7 rounds, that the advantage swings to Nate because he's got the cardio, that he can outlast you, that he can outgas you, that he's a better gas tank. What's your reaction when you hear people say that?
I think from the outside looking in, that's a fair take. However, on the inside, knowing what I know about myself and my cardio and this being my best camp ever, there's nothing that he can do. At no point in time will there be any advantage for Nate in this fight. And I argue that I get better as the rounds go on.
Wow.
Dropping Tommy Fury in the 8th, dropping Anderson Silva in the 8th. And it's really only 2 more rounds. So
It's 10 rounds.
honestly,
10 rounds makes a difference.
yeah, but honestly, it's like so prepared for this, and I don't think he can take those punches. And it's a different pace than MMA. It's a different style, faster rounds, higher pace. It's a different sport, and all the MMA guys before him have realized that the hard way.
Is this the best boxer you've ever faced, Nate Diaz, or you put Tommy Fury or Anderson Silva above him? Or?
I would put Tommy Fury as a better boxer than Nate Diaz, but I don't think Tommy Fury's as tough as Nate Diaz. I don't think he's as experienced as Nate Diaz, and he hasn't been in as big of fights as Nate Diaz. So all of those things are to Nate Diaz's advantage.
How much film are you studying? Are you watching a lot of Nate Diaz McGregor? Are you watching any film? Or?
Yeah, a little bit. But I know there's just gonna be like a little bit different of a style. But we have someone in camp that like replicates him and his style a lot, and they're giving me really, really, really good looks.
Wow.
So I'm getting to experience it firsthand in sparring, and that's why like whatever he brings to the table, I'm gonna be ready for it.
Hey, Jake, you obviously you made your name in the social media world on YouTube. You have some pretty impressive vlogs. Have you checked out Nate Diaz's vlogs? What do you think of his vlogs?
I have not.
Okay.
I have not seen them, but I have seen his social team making these like edits and these trailers
Mm-hmm.
for the fight, and they're really good. So
Right.
if his social team is helping him with his vlogs, then I'm sure those vlogs are great.
I mean, yeah, because I mean, you're a big name in the social media world, so if you approve of them, they're doing something right.
You're back to a video a week, right? Not a video a day,
Yeah.
a video a week.
Yeah, posting every Wednesday. So,
I remember that. I was there for the everyday bro. It was hilarious. I was a big. You're probably gonna not like this. I was an H3 fan, so they talked about the everyday bro stuff a lot, and it was. I was very entertained by that. Very entertained.
yeah, I think that whole era was just like madness. The internet was on fire then,
Yeah.
and it was just it's a ludicrous time, but definitely don't know how I posted a video every single day. It's bizarre, bizarre thinking about it. And then I look back and it's like cringe. A lot of it's cringe, but the audience I was appealing to at the time loved it, so I just kept it going.
Hey, Jake.
It's impressive.
I saw you on Tate's podcast. Who are we expecting front row? Like, who are some of the names you think coming out?
There's a lot of people, a lot of athletes. I think Joe Rogan hit up Nate's team, Mike Tyson, um, rumors around Jimmy Butler.
Oh, Miami connection. Nice.
Who else? I think maybe was it Lamar Jackson? Like I don't know. There's a lot of people.
Mike Tyson is
of-
huge. I mean, he's been the face of the fight game for a long time in the '90s, early 2000s. He's a legend. So having him in the
I love
building,
Uncle Mike.
right?
I love Uncle Mike.
Having Mike in the building for your fight, almost like people know it's the real deal.
Yeah. Does that validate it for you when somebody like that shows up? Does that make it all worth it just in terms of having that audience?
For sure. For sure. And that's what I've tried to focus on. You know, there's been a lot of critics on my career in boxing and my time in boxing, but it's my fellow boxers who actually have shown me more love than anyone. And to me, that means the most because they are respecting my work ethic and respecting what I'm doing for the sport.
Right. Hey, I did catch your vlog earlier today. How did you get Nate's coach's number? Is that a Google search?
I can't reveal.
Hey, Randy Spence is a hard guy to get a hold of. Legendary, coach up in NorCal, and you got him on the phone. It was pretty funny.
No, yeah.
You liked the way he played it, though.
I have a way with things.
You have a
I
way.
have a way with things.
That was pretty funny.
Nice.
He played it cool though and just hung up.
Yeah, they
rather
knew. They were onto us like immediately. It didn't really work at all, but we tried our best.
That's hilarious.
Now, Jake, I see something on your wrist. You got a very nice watch. Can you tell me what kind of watch that is? Is that a Tiffany blue? What is that?
Ooh.
Yeah, so Tiffany blue Rolex Oyster Perpetual.
Sick.
That is beautiful.
Picked
That's nice.
up. Nice little
Piece.
Yeah, daily. Matches my old school car, so I love it.
Very nice watch. Hey,
Thank you, man.
What do you? This is a monster fight. I know you're getting a monster payday. What are you copping with the check? Are you anything you got your eyes on?
With this fight bag,
Yeah.
I'm thinking about getting a G4 Gulfstream, maybe.
Oh, nice.
Oh, nice. Yeah, it's about time. Call it, the Paul Express.
Yeah,
or
we'll
something.
see.
A little Gulfstream. What's that run you? A G4?
Don't ask me. I'm the wrong I'm the wrong person. to
Yeah,
ask
the
that
market. The market's
50
sort
million.
of down right now, but it depends on like what year and interior and like all that stuff. But you can get a really nice one for like 10 to 12 mil.
Nice. The having your own jet is kind of like the official boss move. Drake has one. Mayweather only rolls around on his own jet. So once you
Yeah, that's when you know you made it.
Are you going to put your
100%.
name on it?
No, I think that's weird. I think
Okay.
it's like I don't know. I don't want. Oddly enough, people don't know this about me. Like I don't like drawing attention to myself like out in public.
Come on. You're
I
really?
don't.
He gets
Okay.
it.
I hate going out in public. I don't want yeah.
Wow.
I buy like discreet SUVs to drive around in for the majority of my time. Like I would have like Lamborghini Uruses and Bentley trucks and Rolls Royces
Yeah.
and shit, but it's
Well, because I
it's
saw.
like
Go ahead. Sorry.
most of the time I drive around in like a pickup truck, which is like normal colors,
Yeah.
and or just like a normal colored SUV.
Well, I saw you. Well, you had that kid that he asked the question of, what do you do for a living? You had him. I forget his name. I'm sorry. I'm blanking on his name right now.
Daniel Mack, yeah,
right.
yeah.
Yeah. And you were talking about your cars a little bit. So I mean, there is some element of that where you do enjoy having that. Like you like to show off a little bit. I mean, it makes you feel. It's an accomplishment of your work, right?
Yeah, it's more like to inspire others to show that, like, if I'm just like some fucking idiot kid from Ohio and 26 years old, like, that you guys can do this too. That's like the main message behind it. But I also like really nice things. Like, so there is some of it, but like, for example, like having a Ferrari, I would much rather just like drive it at the track versus like driving it around the streets to like try and get noticed for some shit.
I see.
Yeah.
So Jake, listen, we're about 11 days out from the biggest fight of your career. I'm pretty sure the whole world's tuning in. When are you getting to Dallas?
Sometime this weekend, I believe we're going.
Sick. So you'll be there about 6-7 days out.
Yep, exactly.
You got a big team. Nate's known for his ginormous team, and they all train. Are you worried about any like team-on-team run-ins or anything like that?
I'm not. We're ready for the smoke if they want to do that punk shit that they normally do, but not worried about it at all. You know, the most that can happen is someone getting hit with a water bottle. That's their signature, so it's not too bad.
Final thing for me is message to Nate Diaz and your official fight prediction. How do you see this fight going?
Yeah, man. My message to Nate Diaz is, look, I'm glad you train hard. I'm excited to fight you. And anything that you bring to the ring will not be good enough to beat me. And you will be stopped in the 6th or 7th round.
6 or 7. That's...
Well, there is one more thing I have to ask you.
This is the biggest Jake Paul fan.
Yeah. I follow all this stuff. I loved the I follow Betr. I think that what you guys are doing is dope. I love the content. But at the press conference, your boy Derek, he had a little bit of a viral moment. I had to ask about this, about him calling out Nick Diaz. There are a lot of people who believe that you put him up to that. Is that,
of course,
is that true? Did you put him up to that?
He's asking.
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
So he called out Nick Diaz on his own, only because he is your employee, and
bizarre. No, of course, people think I put him up to it, but the kid is bizarre. And when he said that, I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. He beats to his own drum and he says whatever he wants, and that's also why he's like become a star. He just doesn't give a fuck.
Are you worried about Derek's safety in Dallas, Texas?
Slightly.
Hey,
definitely, yeah.
There's a guy who trains boxing, pretty good boxer. He's out of Stockton. Logan Woosley. I'm hearing he wants a little piece of Derek better. Maybe we can set that up sometime in the future.
Yeah, but maybe that's what Derek needs. You know.
Right.
Maybe he needs a little humbling.
But you could understand why people say that, though, because he wouldn't have done that, taken that risk, without some sort of reassurance that he wouldn't have lost his job, right? You understand?
No, he doesn't think about these things.
Okay. Fair enough.
No, he doesn't think about these things, and not even like a reassurance for his own safety.
Right.
Like literally afterwards, he was like, "Hey, bro, I'm like really scared. Can I like stand by you and your security guard so nothing happens?" And I was like,
"That's hilarious."
All right, Derek.
Jake, how much you weighing right now? I know you weighed yourself probably this morning. What are you weighing?
Yeah, I'm like 196.
Oh, nice.
You're about 11 pounds over. Nice. So the cut is going nicely. You'll hit the 185, no problem.
Exactly. Feeling good, man. Nice. Everything's on point.
Really quick, what can you say about when are you you're with PFL? We've got 5 minutes left. PFL, when are we going to see you make your MMA debut? Like, what kind of fighter are you going to be? How's that looking?
Yeah, I have $10 million for Nate Diaz. I want to fight him in MMA in the PFL. The offer has been there. I still want to do it. And we can fight August 5th, sure, but I want to fight him in MMA. I think it'd be really fun. He has 10 million guaranteed.
Right. We talked
so
to Nate.
That offer, if that comes to fruition, then that's when my MMA debut will be. It'll be soon.
Is that the easiest bag of Nate's life or no? Because it's MMA.
No. Like that's what's funny about it is like I would fuck him up in MMA.
No way.
Wow.
He's a black belt under Cesar Gracie, jiu-jitsu legend. He's been tapping people out.
So guess what?
Yeah.
Guess what? So to tap someone out, what do you have to do?
Submit him.
you
Armbar,
have to-
choke
It's
him out.
technique. It's all technique.
You have to get them to the ground.
Oh, I see. So you're a striker is what you're saying.
And I'm a better wrestler than Nate. Nate doesn't have the same high school. I'm Division I Ohio State wrestler.
You did not
Like-
go to Ohio State. That's hilarious.
No, Ohio.
The
in high
state of
school.
Ohio.
Oh, in high school.
Oh, yeah,
Ohio
yeah. Right.
State
Okay.
Right, Ohio
wrestler.
State.
I didn't go to-
Yeah,
I
yeah.
didn't even finish high school. But
Oh, okay.
I'm
No,
a college.
no,
I'm a
but-
college dropout.
But that's
so,
like
yeah.
the most competitive state to wrestle in, and it's like, who is Nate Diaz wrestling? He's not stronger than me either, so he can't take me down. Meaning that the fight would be a stand-up fight, and I believe my strike is better than him.
Wow.
Well, I respect wrestling and wrestlers. I respect all wrestlers. I'm a wrestler myself. I did a little junior college wrestling from all my life. I wrestled. But someone like Nate with the jiu-jitsu, he wants us wrestlers on the ground with him because that's where he works best. Little triangle, Kimura. You know, like, I don't know. I just think that's an easy win for Nate.
Yeah, no, and you probably were someone who said the same thing about, Nate Diaz or Nate Robinson beating me, or Ben Askren beating me, or Tyron Woodley beating me, or Anderson Silva beating
That's
me.
funny, right? No,
Yeah.
I picked against
Jake,
you maybe.
You're right. People have been doubting you. You've no. I'm one of them. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, I was one of them. I think honestly, the way that you came after that Tommy Fury defeat changed my perspective of you, and I have all the respect in the world for you, and I'm really looking forward to this, man. I think it's a 50-50 fight, and I'm really excited. I'll be buying the pay-per-view and everything, so I'm excited. Yeah.
No, I appreciate it, guys,
Yeah.
and thank you for having me on.
Cool,
Yeah.
you're the man, Jake. All right.
Let's go.
Yo.
Take care, bro.
boom.
See you in Dallas.
Good luck, man.
See you soon.
Let me tell you something about Andrew. This is my boy right here. You disrespect him, you're disrespecting me.
Inside fighting. Shout out to Inside Fighting.